Welcome back, Dave. How you doing?
It's good to be here. It's a great day in the neighborhood. Work this morning, recruiting some future cobbers. And the football team's got a big tilt today. Us and Bethel. Two teams for the Skyline Division. The Minnesota Intercollegiate Athletic Conference.
Who's the betting favorite?
I don't know if there's a line. There's probably not.
There's gotta be some rumors going on though, right? Who's supposed to win? No, you don't know.
I mean, I'll tell you this. So Bethel has the highest points per game in the MIAC, right around like 55, I think, which is, that's egregious.
That's a lot.
St. John's is second in the 40s. We're third at like 35. And this is coming from Coach Terry Horan, so it's a credible source. On defense, our defense gives up an average 11.1 points per game, top of the conference. St. John's is 2 with 11.4. And then Bethel is 3 with 11.6. We have the most yards per average on kickoff returns, not just in the MIAC, in the country. We've had 2 kick sixes in the last 2 weeks, and so it'll be a battle. It's senior night or senior day, 28 seniors. But life's not bad. Been watching a lot of football lately. Been through the ringer with work in the best way possible. Life's been good, but we're busy. Looking forward to unwinding this afternoon, just watching some football on the couch. Going bowling tonight, maybe, allegedly.
Yeah. What are you going to shoot tonight in bowling?
Well, we first have to ask, are there going to be bumpers?
No. Oh my gosh. No, we're not.
Why?
I'm not going if we're playing with bumpers.
Why? I only will go if we play with bumpers. And if there are bumpers, I can get up into the 200s.
So the issue with bumpers when you're actually trying to like compete is they ruin. You can hug the edge of the.
Yeah, it takes the skill out of the game, but
right.
I score higher.
Yeah, but it's not fun then.
I think it's fun because I get a good score.
It's not the authentic game.
Yeah, but I can say that I scored a 220. And if somebody asks if there's bumpers, I'll say, yeah. But if they don't ask, I just say I scored a 220.
I feel like if you roll a 220 and you don't put the disclaimer out there that you rolled with bumpers, I feel
absolutely, I'm playing the system.
Kind of fucked up.
It is. It truly is. But I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed to use bumpers.
There's no way you're rolling a 220 with bumpers even.
Okay, maybe not 220, but like high 100s. Without bumpers, so real bowling, as you call it. I'm like 115 max.
I'm just thinking about Carlos in the bench warmers where he has that green crayon, I am 12. It's just you out there with a bunch of little kids on their birthday just ripping the bumpers.
Just going to town. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not much of a bowler. It's been a good year since I've bowled. How about you? You bowl at all ever?
No. It's probably been like 5 years maybe since I bowled. I'll probably bowl 150 would be probably what I would.
Yeah, that's admirable. That's admirable.
But actually though, if we have bumpers, I'm not. That's unacceptable.
Okay, we can go no bumpers, and I'll still beat you.
No, you won't. No, you won't. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nah. What genuinely? What do you think you're gonna shoot without bumpers?
Anywhere from like 100 to 120, probably.
So, based on that prediction, I would bury you by 30 to 50 strokes. I'm pretty confident I'm rolling 150.
Okay, that's fine. Then again, like I'm not good enough of a bowler where like I don't know the skills and tactics. I literally say like, let's get some pace behind it. Let's aim for the middle. I don't do the whole spin thing. Naturally, there's going to be some spin. But I'm dumb enough where like I could see myself pulling a 150, 160 out of my ass. Just lucky. I mean, 1 time out of 10 probably. But that 1 time could be tonight.
Yeah. All right. We'll see who wins that matchup.
Yeah.
I wrote some notes down because we were supposed to record a few nights back and just didn't actually fall, or it kind of fell through.
Yeah, it
but
did.
I was playing disc golf across the river, and anyways, it was kind of late in the night. Maybe it just gets dark so quick here. So maybe like
it's like 5 now. Yeah, it gets dark at 5. Yeah, 4:45. Yeah.
So it's like 6 p.m., dark as hell, and I'm walking over the lift bridge where they lift it up if it's gonna be flooding. And there's this homeless lady. Well, I guess she wasn't homeless necessarily, but she was drugged out.
She was on chemicals.
Yeah, she was oompa loompaing over the lift bridge, and I knew she was trouble. She she just hawkeyes me, and she's like, "You got any drugs?" More so in a voice like this, "You got any drugs?" And I was like, "Nah." I'm sorry. And then she's like, I wrote actually her quote down.
What'd she say?
She said, "Fuck you, you bitch ass N-word, hard R, by the way, bitch." And she said it to me. I was like, "What?" And then she's like, "You hurt me."
That is just behavior that, as a contributing member to society, I cannot condone. No, that's not good.
Yeah. And then I was like, wait. To the lady, because she was walking away. I was like, actually, I do believe I have 3 pounds of fentanyl in my backpack. Let me just get that for you. And then I brought out, just pure, crystal fentanyl, and then hooked her up for a few weeks. So, yeah.
Did you actually say that last line?
No.
I was gonna say, like, that'd be an iconic bit, and then you pull out like a jug of water or something and be like,
yeah.
Pull out like some brochures to like a rehab facility.
Oh, actually, what I did have, I had those hard Lifesavers. What if I like had her come over? I'm like, actually, these are crazy. Like, just like.
I mean, she could have believed you. Do you, on that topic? Do you crunch your Lifesavers, or do you suck on them?
I suck on them for a little bit and then I crunch them.
Dude, I'm full crunch. Any like crunchy like hard candy, like I crunch Jolly Ranchers. Like, if I'm gonna have something in my mouth for a long period of time, it's gonna be gum. I'll chew gum, and I love gum. But like, I don't want to just suck on like a Jolly Rancher or a Lifesaver lights yet. I call them lightsabers sometimes, which is not what they're called. But that's what they use in Star Wars. But no, I crunch, because if I leave them in my mouth is going to get sticky. I don't like sticky. I was the kid as a child where, like, if I got something sticky on me, I would literally lose my shit. And that rings true to this day. I don't like sticky things.
You ever what do you like better, the hard Lifesavers or the gummy Lifesavers?
See, the gummies are good, but I don't see. I mean, they're probably in stores. I feel like they're not nearly as popular, though.
You think the hard ones are more popular?
I think so. I think so.
Like a table thing where you like pick.
Yeah, I mean, you've got them on your office desk. Like, people, hey, take some candy.
Yeah. And I would say like the soft ones are more so just for pounding on your own.
Yeah, like that's like last night, like I watched Tommy Boy, which I hadn't seen in like a decade. Outstanding movie. Rest in peace, Chris Farley. Like, that's an occurrence where it's like societally appropriate to just go to town on some gummies.
Last night you let the Lifesavers talk.
There you go, Morgan Wallen. Speaking of Morgan Wallen, country music, Zach Bryan, he's in one.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Before we jump topics, on the topic of like Lifesavers, gummies, have you seen the Shaq Gummies?
No.
Shaq Gummies. Yeah. Shaq Gummies.
I've had breakfast at the Shack in North Fargo.
But let me pop these up. It's actually, I had them for the first time. Share screen. Shaq Gummies. Here, see them?
Yeah. Pull up a bigger image. Oh, like Shaq, like Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, Shaq Gummies. Yeah. They're massive gummies. They're huge.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like
you got Shaq's face on. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how. Yeah. Anyways,
do they taste good?
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty solid.
I mean, I feel like there's a hard ceiling with gummies. Like,
yeah,
they're objectively, any gummy is going to be good, but there's not going to be like a like a differentiator in the market where you're like, I only get this versus like burgers. Like obviously there's a wide spectrum of burgers.
Yeah. I guess what I can say is they weren't overwhelmingly good, but they weren't bad by any means. I would say they're like 7 out of 10, 7 point into the 7.5s, I would say.
Okay.
I had both the sour and the purple ones. Both were equally good in their own right. I would say right around the same for both. But okay, yeah. Back to the
real quick though, can you find them at like a convenience store or a Hornbacher's grocery store?
Yeah, I found them at Hornbacher's, the local grocery store. I'm sure they're at Walmart. They have way more options there. So,
well, I really like Shaq, so I may have to buy some.
Yeah, but you were mentioning Zach Bryan, right?
Yeah. So Zach, obviously, him and Brie Chicken Fry or Brie is it Paglia? Paglia? Italian last name.
Yeah, I think it's La Paglia or La Paglia.
Yeah, they've been dating for a year. Broke up. Brie has come out as just Barstool in general, talking about what happened, and she kind of shared her story. And so I would use the disturbing as a strong word, but I would use it for what was shared. Obviously, there's two sides to every story, but there, when something happens over and over again, it's credible, and yeah, it doesn't sound great. And also the fact that Zach kicked Miss Peaches out of the dressing room when there were dogs in there. That's not cool because Miss Peaches is a beautiful girl. She does not bite other dogs. She does not hump other dogs. She does not piss on the floor. Yeah, it's not great. What are your thoughts on that thing?
Yeah, your mic is kind of like shaky there, but I think
I cut off for a second. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. What do I think about this situation? I always like the ramifications. Like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen next?
And that poses I think that's a big part of the story in the sense that apparently there was hush money, where they 8 million, 10 million, then 12 million, a house, for Brie to not talk about it, and she said no. Like, I'm already a successful person. I don't want my identity to be defined by this relationship.
Yeah. We should take a step back here. If people are listening to this and like they're probably no idea what's going on. Like, so Zach Bryan and Brianna LaPaglia, like David mentioned before, they had broke up, and now Brianna has came out and done some podcasts essentially saying this guy was super emotionally abusive and whatever rights, and has given some pretty crazy stories and apparently has video as well. You kind of have to see her talk about it to kind of get the vibe, but it seems pretty legitimate. And yeah,
it does. And I think the one telling example that speaks to me is like talking Brie about her birthday party. Her and a bunch of friends and family. And Brie is,
You're good.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
I'm good. Okay, sweet. But talking about, and Brie, I should preface, like, she's famous in the podcasting, like, kind of like digital world. She's not Zach Bryan famous, obviously. And so her friends, therefore, they're not famous. They're average people like you and I. She shares a story about, Zach comes to birthday party. He's a little bit out of it, whatever. He's on tour. Like, she gets it. She decides to go to bed. Wakes up to screams like an hour and a half later. Comes downstairs like, what's going on? And all of her girlfriends are crying. They're like, he just started lashing out at us, screaming. Her aunt is in the backyard by the bonfire pit trying to like restrain him. It sounds like basically he was just being like yelling at them and like throwing disses like, you'll never be anything, blah, 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 like this and that. And it's just like, I don't know. I think about it in this perspective. Like, obviously we've sat around quite a few bonfire pits. Who's like, I'm trying to think like, that's like, I would consider a friend, somebody that I would reach out to that like is famous, like, and that both of us know. Your brother obviously, was signed to multiple NFL teams. Like, is he famous? No. But let's just pretend that he was. Let's say he was on an active NFL roster in the lineup. I don't think he nor most famous people would just do that. And so my mind goes to like clearly Zach Bryan. I hope he gets some help in one way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
Because there's something off there.
Yeah.
Again,
Well,
there's two sides to every story, but I mean, and some people are probably going to say, Bree's crazy, blah, blah, this and that. I don't care.
mhm.
Um, you know, it's not good.
Yeah. I mean, one thing is certain, I would say, and kind of alluding to your story earlier, the time frame was like 11:30 p.m. was when she went to bed, is what she claimed, and then it was what, yeah, 1 a.m.
Yeah. 1 a.m.
So clearly, probably he was super drunk,
Drunk, maybe other things. Who knows?
and it seemed like maybe that has been. I mean, so adding to the story, Dave Portnoy and what's
What's the
the
rapper's name?
Zach
SoundCloud guy.
Zach, is it Zach Richards?
Yes.
Is it?
Oh, let's look.
It's not Zach, I don't
It is Richards, though.
think. Damn. You can see how much I followed these guys.
Let's go to Entertainment Online. Very credible news source. Josh Richards.
Josh. What did I say, Zach?
Yeah, Zach, Josh, close enough.
Man. Damn it. Anyways, they released a song just shunning this dude. It's hilarious. Do you think that's funny?
I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was well written. I think Dave plays the role well of like, Dave knows that he's good at what he does, obviously.
Yeah.
Dave knows damn well that he's not a musician. He's not a rapper.
Yeah.
And he plays like the normal guy. I know that I suck at this, but like still pulls it off, which is, I mean, that's what people want in content.
Yeah.
And then the funny, the wild thing with that is, and maybe you were going to say this, but like, obviously it goes up, it's 5+ minutes, gets tons of views. Hours later, Warner Brothers takes it down because Zach's angry. He's under them, obviously. Gets back up. Then we find out that Josh Richards, back in 2020, had a contract with.
Dang. You're cutting out, Dave. Yeah. But Josh Richards had a contract with Warner Bros. 3 years ago. That's where you cut out, Dave. If you just want to continue on.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, yeah, and chances are he didn't even remember that. He's a SoundCloud rapper. He's just trying to, he's an honest man doing honest day's work. But the video is not hard to find. I mean, you can find it in a lot of places. And he said that Dave said he's going to create another diss track within 24 hours. Now, has that happened? I haven't seen it. I haven't checked. Have you?
No. I'm excited for it, but that was a banger. The one that they released was an absolute banger. I hope it somehow gets, I don't know. Yeah, probably will get like deleted, but that almost becomes lore in a way where you hear this underground diss track that will be out there and you can play it, but it just might not be on, YouTube. But I love the fact that Dave Portnoy, when he hates someone and wants them gone and adios, he gets a champagne bottle,
Yep,
with their name on it, and then pops it when essentially they destruct. For example, the ESPN dude, when he got fired, popped it.
Blodgett, Henry Blodgett, Business Insider,
popped it.
He didn't do one for Sam Ponder. He was very respectful there. But yeah, I mean, this guy doesn't lose. Do I, one day when I'm a father, am I going to tell my kids to be like Dave Portnoy? No. But you got to respect the hustle. You do. And, it truly is. He has galvanized Stooley Nation. So this is nothing new, but it's
do you think this is going to be the end of Zach Bryan?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think that take a look at all the scandals that have happened mid-career during talented musicians. This doesn't even scrape the surface. Is it good? No. It's a really bad. And anytime there's emotional abuse or abuse of any sort in a relationship, it's an awful, awful, awful thing.
Yeah, but Yeah, there's always like issues, and people have had their past situations similar to this. But this is going against Dave Portnoy. I feel like you're underestimating how powerful his audience is.
I may be like, I guess we'll wait. I mean, how do you judge that? If it, you know, puts a nail in the tires for him. I guess you look at like ticket sales, like plays on Apple Music and Spotify. I mean, it's all over the internet. Like if you go on X right now, um, Zach Bryan continues to trend for like the fourth day in a row. And the video only came out yesterday, I believe. So it was trending prior. And so I don't know. And I'm bummed. I really like Zach Bryan's music. I liked that when it came to politics, country music obviously has an affiliation with a certain political party. He didn't agree with one party or the other. He said, I'm going to speak my mind and speak my truth. And like, I appreciate that. I respect that. Somebody that's willing to walk to the beat of their own drum. But we'll see. He's got a huge name.
Yeah.
I mean, he transcends, or you go first. What were you saying?
I was going to say, I think people really like hearing the backstory on stuff. So they dive deeper into who they like and what they follow. So what I think is going to happen is people who are Zach Bryan fans, true Zach Bryan fans, not just his music, but actually people who like care about like what he's doing, which is quite a bit of people. They're going to follow this story, see what happens. If you listen to what she says on the podcast, you're not going to think anything else besides, wow, this is kind of messed up. And she's definitely telling the truth. She's not going to lie about this stuff. And just the way she says it too, you're like, okay, like this is definitely happened. And this guy clearly has issues. So I think people are going to stop listening to him. I genuinely think, and if you give it like 2-3 years time, I think you're going to see what kind of impact this has on it.
Yeah. Well, and what comes to my mind, Isaac, is like, when's the last time we had something mid-career for an artist or a band? Like, and what comes to mind for me is Dixie Chicks. I mean, we were young, but obviously they came out and were very against George Bush and Dick Cheney, and they plummeted. So we've seen it happen before. And so we'll see. I mean, what other examples come to mind, if any, to you?
Yeah, I don't even know who the Dixie Chicks are. Wait,
you don't know who the Dixie Chicks are?
They got big and then they like spoke up and they got canceled.
Yeah, they were basically they were top of the country music scene early 2000s. And still now they go by the Chicks because of the affiliation with slavery with the word Dixie. But they basically like their careers crashed. And I mean, granted, they were fine like financially for the rest and they will be for the rest of their lives. Yeah. Just as Dak will be. But it's definitely, it's thought-provoking. Side note, I just heard my dad grunt. He's stringing Logan Sandberg's racket with Diadem Solstice 15L. And that's a tough one to string. It's a great string. And I love that our players use it, but it takes a toll on the human body.
How many rackets do you think you can string in one day, like an 8-hour shift?
In an 8-hour shift, so what type of stringer am I using? Am I using a tabletop manual or am I using an electric?
Your optimal one, the one you can get done like the most rackets fastest.
So that'd be an electric stringer.
Okay.
And it depends on what stringer you're using. Like, let's say I've got a full bed, I should say, of Singut.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm really cruising, I can do a racket in 14 minutes. If it's a full bed of RPM, it's more like 17 minutes. So, if it's a full bed of Alu Power Rough or Tour Bite, it is, I would say, 23 minutes. If it's Solstice, it's
so when you say 14 minutes, is that from you have the string in there and then you start, or that's from and then you get everything out, cut it?
Yeah, cutting the other strings out.
Okay, so you start by you have a full bed of string in your racket, and then you just start your clock, you cut it all out, and then you start stringing. That's 14 minutes?
Yes.
Dang. So you're cutting out the string and putting in new string in 14 minutes.
Yeah, which also depends on the pliers. If you've got like a full
Oh, that's
craftsman uh, craftsman pliers that's big, you cut out the strings, you take them out. That takes like 45 seconds.
okay.
However, like at Concordia, for example, we only have a small clipper. I'm gonna buy one, donate it to the program that is larger. That takes a full like 2 to 3 minutes, and it
Okay.
depends on the string tune. It depends on the racket. Like Zach Sitter's racket, love my guy Zach. The Head Prestige. Uh, the strings get stuck in the grommets because there's a full protected grommet, uh,
Mhm.
and so that's tougher. Um, but yeah, in 8 hours, I could do at least 15 rackets, I'd say.
It's pretty good. Um, in other tennis news, transitioning from the barstool stuff, did you see the WTA got a little backlash for having very few fans in the WTA finals in
I
like one
did.
of their first matches? They had like 400 people in the fans. Granted, it was a work day, so that could have been a reason why a lot of people didn't show up. But I looked to try to see if there's an update to see if there's more fans on the following days, and it didn't really say. So, thoughts on having very few attendance, 400 people at the WTA finals? That would not happen to the guys. There's no way, right?
No, absolutely not. I think it comes down to this, like bigger picture wise, both male and female. Tennis needs to get with the times. Um, that doesn't necessarily, we've talked about like, should the ATP or the WDA do, WTA do a, basically like a 3M Open? I think that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's one end of the spectrum, but just in general, you've got to market players differently. It's the same struggle with Major League Baseball. Um, Major League Baseball had a guy named Shohei Otani. May have heard of him. Um, and still, MLB numbers are not great. This guy is one of the greatest athletes in the last century. He's pitching, he's hitting, and doing so at a very high level. And they don't market him. It's I look at it in a couple different facets. There is the actual competition on the court that you can sell, and I think for tennis, like for non-tennis fans, like watching a full tennis match is objectively fun. They're hitting the ball hard, high speeds, lots of spin. Um, but then there's the stuff outside of that to draw people into that, and I think that's where the WTA fails, the ATP fails. Naturally, there's going to always be that bias of watching men over women, which is unfortunate. That's the reality that we've seen in a lot of sports. Although we've seen great growth from women's sports, obviously. I mean, look at the WNBA with Caitlin Clark.
Mm-hmm.
It's outstanding, and it's a good thing. We're seeing it with professional soccer
Yeah.
as well. Women's golf is on the rise, but still, tennis is not there, and it's unfortunate.
I I I think there's a few ways you can think about the situation. I think uh, it's also a good thing because maybe you don't have a market in Saudi Arabia at the current moment, and by having events like this, people get interested, people come out, turn out, and next time, you get 2 times the attendance, and then the next time,
Yeah, well, and I think that's a great point you bring up there. Like Saudi Arabia, there's been a lot of talks in the last year, but that's not a tennis country.
right?
And yeah, it poses the question: why do you have a premier event there? I get they're trying to grow, but yes, that's the answer. They're getting paid a lot of money by certain funds that may be owned by the government.
Give me my money. Give me my money.
Yes, that's it. I don't know. I mean, where would you like to see the WTA tour in 10 years? What do you think reasonable expectations are when it comes to fandom?
Uh, I think that just the WTA and ATP finals kind of suck. I wish that the finals would be more of a big deal. I don't know how you make it a big deal. Like clearly the Grand Slams are what matters in
Right.
tennis.
That is what people like. There's always going to be a base that's going to watch. They're going to watch the Grand Slams, but they're going to watch the finals. They're going to watch Cincy. They're going to watch Rome. They're going to watch all the ATP and WTA events.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a small base. how do you get the football fan who just loves sports to be like, hey, like, let's turn on tennis on Sunday morning? And that's, it's tough. I think you got to make it fun. You got to make it rambunctious, party-like atmosphere. Find some way to differentiate yourself. And that goes very much against the grain of traditional country club tennis, of sportsmanship and whatnot.
Mhm.
But you have to do it if you want to thrive and maybe even survive.
Yeah. They gotta do something. I've been watching a lot of UFC stuff, and their promotional material is so good. They're so good at making stars out of, in my opinion, people who might not be stars if otherwise not for the promotion. So
yeah, say what you want about Dana White, but he is one of the world's greatest businessmen.
Yeah,
and it's not close
for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I think we should end it there, Dave. Nice 30-minute epi.
Yeah. Hey, roll Cobs. Have a great weekend, folks, and great week.